Hello and welcome back to Malta. We're continuing our Jurassic Experience Malta park build here, and we're moving on to episode 5. In episode 4, we finished the aviary, which you see here. I do think it turned out quite well, but we are continuing on to the other side of the park here, and we're starting with the monorail station. This is the exact opposite end of this open area of the park, and it is going to be the lagoon. As I said previously in the last episode, we would be working on our lagoon next. Now, I start with the monorail station because, well, you do have to build around the station in a sense in a park like this. And I'm just putting a line out here just to sort of get it there. I'll just take it all the way. The lagoon itself, I'm using pretty basic parts here, but I'm going to do 3 lagoons just like I did 3 aviaries. So it gives us options, variety. Different sizes, of course. That's pretty good. So getting the main path over there, the lagoon area itself is going to be actually reasonably sparse in decoration. I don't want to say that I'm being lazy, because when I build each part of the park, as I said in a previous episode, it's all just by, I don't know, what feels right. What should I do? I go by feeling. This is an interesting detail because we've been doing these oases, and they have the white sand around them to make you feel like comfortable and like you're on holiday. Well, I decided that I would make each lagoon like an oasis, So we're going to put palm trees around them, just like we do with all the other oases. I hope people don't get mistaken and try to jump in thinking, oh, it's great, it's just like the other lagoons, because it's not. I should tell you, by the way, that one of my neighbors is doing some renovations today. I didn't know, obviously you don't know, but if you hear anything, I do apologize. I'll turn off the recording if I start to hear the walls vibrate again. They've been working on it for about, I don't know, an hour and a half, but I guess they've taken a break. I don't think it's the end of the drilling or whatever they're doing. I think they're probably ripping out a kitchen, if I had to guess. That's, I think, the number one renovation for people. Anyway, so if you hear it, I apologize. I'll stop the recording and I'll wait till they stop again. We are adding an eatery area here because we are a bit far from the other parts of the park where people can buy food and drink. So we are going to add that in here. It's a nice area to enjoy an iced coffee. For the design, I don't really have anything special in mind. We're going with this sort of oval shape. I really like how it looks. And I was hoping I could do something with the path here going to the monorail station, but I just decided to keep it simple. Here we're going to do our facility path. This is the path where if you had an issue with the monorail, if the monorail broke down or malfunctioned, the the passengers could disembark, climb down a ladder on one of the supporting legs, and they would take this facility path which runs along the length of the monorail here. They would take that back to civilization. So that's the idea. So this is episode 5 out of 7. Like I've said in previous episodes, this is going to be a 7-part park series, and it is going to be 6 parts building and 1 part park tour. Again, I am trying a new method of editing where I make the videos much, much shorter. So no more 2.5 hour long videos. That's pretty insane to expect people to watch and listen to me for that long. So I'm trying to keep all future videos, every video I do in the future, under an hour. Ideally 40 minutes is the upper limit of, I think, what is reasonable. So thank you for bearing with me. Hopefully you let me know if you like it. I'm trying different things about, fast forwarding and cutting content in certain ways to make it feel like you're seeing everything and yet you're not seeing too much. So alright, now we start our decoration of the lagoon oases. We are using the palm tree technique again. It's pretty straightforward, really. Now, unfortunately, the lagoon side planters on this map are not the palm tree planters. They are some other desert planters. So I'm not using those in this park build because I just don't think it really fits well. I want it to appear a little more tropical around these, like yeah, just like the oases you see in the movies, those old movies where they show in the middle of the desert a little pond of water with some beautiful palm trees. So that's what I'm going for here. I do hope in Jurassic World Evolution 3 they give more decorating, I guess, potential to the lagoons compared to what we have now, because I would say that it is quite limited inside the lagoon. But I know that at least you'll be able to place objects in a certain way, because we saw they had the arches and everything. So I'm hopeful. Here we have our facility path on the other side of the monorail. We're just trying to get it lined up. I don't want to waste space, so that's what we're working towards here. Not using the space unwisely. We're just going to go straight over here. Now for decoration, we'll keep it simple. Some fountains. And of course some seating. Again, I do plan on changing all of the buildings before the park tour because they're all, I don't even know what they are. They're crab, they're sushi, and I don't know if this is the salad one. But yeah, we'll change them all. Something like all coffee again, like I did in Jurassic Peak, or maybe something else. We'll see. But I don't take it too seriously. Here we have our incense sticks. That'll help make everything smell good. And the umbrellas are essential. Well, I guess they're not umbrellas, they're sunshades. Sunshade. Isn't that what they say? There was, it's quite interesting. There's a movement, I guess, to remove foreign influences from the English language. And I guess umbrella is it a French word or a different country's word? And so they try to only use more Germanic originating words, so they call it a sunshade instead of an umbrella. Yeah, that was, I don't think you'll have heard of it because I don't think it ever made traction in the wider world, but I have heard of that before. It makes me giggle when I think about sunshade. I'm pretty sure that's the word they used, sunshade. Or some other shade. Here we have another fountain, the Biosyn. Everybody loves a Biosyn fountain. Now these banners here they're pretty cool, and I do like them because they're a good decoration, but also they provide light at night. I do wish that there was some way to better gauge how far you are from the previous one, so you can make them all sort of equally spaced, but I guess you can get pretty good results if you do it by eyesight. But it would be a lot easier if there was some way to make them equally spaced in distance. I guess that would be kind of impossible though. Maybe you draw a line or something and then you would choose the decoration and then it would place them equally spaced along the distance of the line. That would be one way to do it. But yes, they are a great decoration, good for lighting as well. Here we're going to put down our lagoon sign, and of course I realized that I forgot to do the aviary sign as well. So we go back quickly to do the aviary sign. We're just putting down some benches. They don't have to be perfect, because you can imagine that a person bumps into it and knocks it off tilt a bit or something like that. You know when people sit down but they don't sit down far enough and then they fall backwards and they knock the chair away? You can imagine that something like that would have a nice story. Like, oh, it has it's a bit crooked because someone went to sit down and then they fell on it and knocked it out of the way. And then, wow, you wouldn't know that just by looking at it. One thing I don't like about these lights is that they erase too much of the foliage. And then you have to go back around with the foliage brush. Perfect. And we'll get our sunshades again. Very good. Okay, a little bit of extra decoration doesn't hurt. We're going to be adding some rocks. Again, I'm using all desert rocks on this map, not because I'm lazy or what have you. It's more like I just think that they really do fit well. In Jurassic Peak, we used all types of rock color, and I think it worked, but Jurassic Peak was quite the experiment. But this, I'm trying to make it so that the Malta map is not the, I don't know, the most well-designed place in the world. Like, the Jurassic Experience is not like Disneyland, where every single park is sterile and cut and paste. Or, yeah, is that what they say? Cut and paste? Copy and paste, you know. You know, I want it to be where every Jurassic Experience is unique. There'd be a reason to go to every single park in the world because you're going to be getting a different experience every time. Now, of course, there's like a safety concern, but don't worry about that. This area here I'm working on is something interesting. It's just off of the side of one of these facility paths. And I decided this would be a great place for the staff workers to actually utilize, because not necessarily with every other part of the park, but the lagoon itself is going to need to be serviced and maintained. They need to put the chemicals in the water to keep it bacteria free and what have you. It's like Marine World, you know, they have to make the water very blue. So these are the pumping stations, and I'm just going to add 3 of them. These are the pumping stations that ensure that the water is a certain, well, color and cleanliness, especially when you have dinosaurs pooping and peeing in the water continuously. We need to make sure the filters are well maintained. So that's what I was doing here. I thought it's a pretty cool idea. Yeah, we're gonna go with these fertilizer containers. I don't know what they are. They have a special name. I forget what they call them. But I play a lot of Farming Simulator, and they have plenty of those in there. They have a special name. When you need to know the word does not come to you. But anyhow, we've just got plenty of them. I want it to be not necessarily an active area. I'd actually like it if they let us decorate with more vehicles. I'd like to not necessarily have them drive around. I don't need that. But I would like to place vehicles, especially work vehicles, in certain areas to make it feel more lively. So for Jurassic World Evolution 3, that is something that I would like to see more of. They don't need to move or even be interacted with. I just want them to be decoration pieces. Here we're just doing the underwater portion. There's really not much to do underwater. I'm just sort of going around randomly, placing some texture, I guess, is what you'd call it. I'd prefer it in Jurassic World Evolution 3 if there was a foliage brush for underwater. So you could do different types of underwater foliage, like tall seaweed, short seaweed, colorful coral brush, you know, rock brush for underwater to create these sort of rocky outcrops. But from what I've seen, I don't know if they have that. I don't go through every Jurassic World Evolution 3 trailer with a fine-tooth comb. I do miss a lot of details. I actually rely on others to find that stuff, and then I can say, oh, that's cool detail. But, I mean, it's also a frontier thing, you know. They're very good at putting things right in plain sight, and you don't even really notice unless you look very closely. Like that one video they showed the baby Spinosaurus for the first time, and it was like a 3-frame shot as the video was ending, and you could just see the top half of its head. And people were like, wow, baby Spinosaurus confirmed. I thought, where's that? Okay, we're gonna try and finish this video. I'm just going in between the breaks as they're drilling out that renovation. So I'm just waiting for them to stop for a bit, and then I start recording again. By the way, that language thing I was saying earlier, they call it Anglish, like Anglo-Saxon English, where they use more like Germanic style words to describe things. So instead of like the study of birds, they would call that bird lore instead of the Latin term, because it's mainly to rid the language of its Latin influence rather than its I guess other languages. It's I guess a little bit older than more recent. Anyway, I thought you'd find that interesting. I think it's certainly very curious. But, yes, I still remember that. So now we're just working on getting all the food ready for the animals. Well, animals, the prehistoric species. We are going to do a shark feeder in one of these, which means that one of these enclosures must have something cool in it, right? Well, no, they all have something cool in it. Our first species here, of course, is this giant turtle, the Archelon. I went with a very nice color pattern here, beautiful red and green, I suppose, which you can just see. It looks very good. This one came with the marine species pack, I believe it was, but definitely essential. I love this one. This is the other species from that pack.
When they told me this thing has
the
legs, I
Nothosaurus.
said, no, it's staying in the water. I don't want to be receiving reports of it running rampant in the sewers, showing up in elevators. Nothosaurus? Not a chance.
I hope that this species is able to be more incorporating the land in Jurassic World Evolution 3, because they are adding shallow water, deep water, and land.
Asset transportation.
So that will be definitely essential. I'll have my people kayaking around it.
Asset transported.
Here we have
one of the largest known ichthyosaurs to
the
have ever lived.
Shonisaurus.
Shonisaurus is a scientist's dream. Years of studying remains filled researchers with a vision. A confident vision, but a vision nonetheless. And now we see it realized before our very eyes, ready to show the world.
Very nice. I went with a nice color here. Lovely blue. Very bright. It's almost like water blue. Tropical water. Warm water blue. And here we have his little brother, the Ichthyosaurus.
While dinosaurs once ruled the Earth, other animals
This
ruled
one's
the
going
seas.
crazy.
Take the Ichthyosaurus, a perfect example of what I'm talking about. They have a large dorsal fin, much like a dolphin. Or actually more like a shark.
So this guy's panicking. but they really do move
We
fast.
know that all life began in the
Here
sea,
we
the
have
primordial soup. Some creatures made their way to shore and started the chain reaction of land animals. Others stayed in the oceans, like the Elasmosaurus, and set the pattern for the marine life that would follow. This beautiful animal has a long neck and a flat tail. With the right setting, it should really attract the crowds.
So the Elasmosaurus, I forgot to film it entering the water, but it's quite an interesting reptile or dinosaur.
Transportation complete.
Here we have, is it the Plesiosaurus? Yeah, the Plesiosaurus. I like this one. Growing up, this was definitely one of my favorites. But I guess I didn't really know too many long-necked marine species.
Asset being transported.
I only really had pictures in books. I couldn't really visualize them as well back then. Because I think the pictures were quite simplistic. But always lovely. Here we have the Dunkleosteus. I went with a red and a sort of yellowish green or greenish yellow. Here you can see the sun just coming up and the colors suddenly start to pop. So it looks really good with these colors. This is a must-have for me. Definitely. I find I really do enjoy the marine species pack. Here, what do we have? This is a Tylosaurus, I
Remember
think.
when you were a kid and they
Yeah,
told
the
you not to eat
Tylosaurus.
and go in the water? Well, with this predator, the Tylosaurus, if you go in the water, you're gonna get eaten. I mean, seriously, this is every sailor's nightmare come to life.
This guy's a lot bigger than I thought he'd be. You forget how big they are sometimes, but he's quite intimidating. So that about does it for this episode, The Lagoon. I hope you enjoyed it. The Lagoon is always something I think is a must-have for any park build, really. But it doesn't have to be big or take up a huge area. Here it's just on the wing of the park, so that's a great place for it. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time for the episode 6.